Chasing that magic number in retirement can be pretty anxiety inducing. So instead, what we want you to do is build your plan around a personal number, one that reflects your individual circumstances. On today's episode with Scott Dugan, financial advisor, we're asking, what is your enough is enough number in retirement? We'll dive into it next. Welcome to another edition of the podcast. Walter Storholt alongside Scott Dugan, Elevated Retirement Group. And Scott, good episode today as we get to highlight an article that you wrote for Kiplinger Magazine about this enough is enough number in retirement. So this is another intriguing way of looking at that often sought after magic number of retirement. Is this the old, is $1 million enough? Is 1.5 million enough?
Yes, 2 million, 5 million enough.
Right.
There's a lot of articles floating around towards the end of last year into 2024 saying, hey, it's actually 1.6, 1.8 million is like the magic number. Like you could
Yes.
throw a blanket over the entire retiree population of the United States and say that's accurate. But I will say that, while there is no magic number, and this kind of harkens back to kind of dating me a little bit. ING had commercials back in the day.
Yes, that's exactly what came to mind.
Walking around with their number on a park bench and stuff like that.
It's pretty good marketing, I thought. That was pretty good,
We're talking about it 20 years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are, the financial advisory world, Wall Street, 401k companies, they do have people fixated on saving, getting this gigantic number. And while that's probably helpful, definitely to be a saver, there is more detail that goes into it to figure out, hey, how much do you need to support your lifestyle? What is that financial independence number for you? And that's your enough is enough number. When can you leave paid work, go to full-time unemployment, and live 20, 30 years in retirement if we're blessed to do that, and live off of those resources that you have. And that's where we dove into this article, talked about some of the studies that are out there, really talked about some of the psychology, which that's the biggest part I want people to take away from, is the psychology of being able to navigate this anxiety-filled process that people go through.
Well, I think part of that anxiety comes from the numbers that you cite in this article, and you were kind of referencing it here, but you talk about the surveys from Northwestern Mutual and Charles Schwab suggesting that Americans need between 1.4 million and 1.8 million to retire comfortably. And obviously, some people are going to hear that number and go, oh, well, I'm okay then, even though that might be a bad assumption. And others will say, well, I'll never get there, so I'm now anxious over that being a possible thing. Mm-hmm. And so in the article, you talk about, you then start saying, okay, let's retrain our focus from focusing on this big number instead to looking at our needs. And you've got some essential questions that kind of unlock the more, I guess, productive conversation.
Absolutely. Because you've got to start with, you think about Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. What do you want to experience? What do you want to do in retirement? And that takes cash flow.
Yeah.
And that could be coming from Social Security, could be coming from a pension, could be part-time work, could be rental income. Most of us, it's going to be investment income, money that you're withdrawing from your 401k, your IRA, your Roth, your TSP, any of those accounts we've contributed to. So again, what's that vision? And we talk a lot about the go-go years of retirement. Those go-go years are the first 10 or so years of retirement, full retirement, where that's where your heaviest expenditures are going to be. That's the travel, the trips, the RV, cars, things like that. Those are usually the most intensive spending years. And then we go into that, slow go and no go. But again, having a clear vision of what it is you want to do. How do you want to live retirement on your terms? What does that mean to you? More importantly, what is it going to cost? Because once we start tallying that up and adding all those numbers up, it's like, hey, this is what it takes to go out of our account every month to do this. This is what we have coming into the account. Is there a gap?
Yeah.
If there's a gap, we've got to fill that with something.
Is your retirement journey truly tailored to your needs? In his book, Exceptional Retirement, Tools and Strategies for Retiring on Your Own Terms, Scott Dugan addresses the crucial questions all retirees ask. Discover the power of a clear financial decision-making process that can prevent major retirement mistakes and unlock exceptional opportunities. In the book, Scott outlines 4 essential questions that guide retirees toward successful outcomes. Don't miss out on on key insights that could define your future. Available now on Amazon. Click the link in the description of this episode to get your copy of Exceptional Retirement.
Looking at your budget or your true spending, I mean, talk about anxiety inducing. I would imagine a lot of people are spending more than they think they are. At least I know that's usually the case when I actually finally get around to looking at the numbers and going, okay, let me be realistic about this. And so that can cause that anxiety to go up. However, a lot of people compare that number to then what they've got saved for retirement and often overlook maybe some of the built-in savings that we've got working for us, some of that built-in income in retirement, and that can maybe help reduce that anxiety level a little bit. And that's got to be another thing that really affects that big magic number and makes that a little harder to nail down for folks.
Oh, absolutely. And everyone's plan that comes in, is going to be different. There's no Play-Doh fun factory, squish people through and, hey, we give them this, everybody gets the same thing. No, it's, hey, again, what are your resources? What are your needs? What do they look like? Do you have a gap? We need to factor in, is there longevity in your family? We need to factor in inflation. So a lot of those things that need to be put in there to stress test to make sure, hey, is this going to work? What's the highest probability of success that we can have to make sure this plan works? And so that's what our process is. We take people through to, again, define the vision, define the purpose of your retirement. What does that look like? What do you have available at your disposal as far as income and resources? Put that plan together and make sure we're providing, or can you provide the cash flow that you need? And then, hey, we need to be tax sensitive. We need to keep as many of those dollars in our pocket as possible using the current tax code. And then, very, very important, after you get that income and investment plan put together and the tax plan, how do we protect it from healthcare? Not only, if we go into Medicare, health insurance, but also long-term care. Do we have contingency plans there if that's important to you? And finally, our estate and legacy planning, making sure that, hey, our wishes put in writing so people know how we want to be taken care of while we're here. And how do we want things to be handled when we're gone? And so again, all of those pieces fit together to make this overall plan. But it starts with, what's that vision? What's that purpose? And what is that financial independence number? What is that enough number for you in particular?
And as a final bow on the conversation here, Scott, it seems to all come back to that psychological element, and people just want to know they're going to be okay in retirement. So whether you've got 500,000 saved or 5 million saved, the one thing that is the same between all those people, I would think, is we all just want to know we're going to be okay in retirement. And it seems like you've built your plans around when you work with clients around helping them answer that question.
Absolutely. Our clients tend to be very good savers, and they're usually in that, we talk about it, that $1 million to $5 million range. So we're very fortunate. I know we are, that the families that we take care of and the families that we attract. But you're right. It doesn't matter if it's 500 or 5 million. There's still can be that level of anxiety of knowing, like you said, am I going to be okay? Is my money going to last as long as we do? Is healthcare going to throw us a curveball? Are we going to have a big market sell-off, early in retirement? What's that going to do? So we all have the same psychological concerns. It's just when there's more zeros, the stakes are higher.
Yeah.
And that's why people usually choose to strategically delegate to a group of professionals to help them manage all of those variables. So they can go do what they want to do in retirement and let the professionals handle all those different areas of their retirement life. And they can check in, once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, whatever it may be, but go live your best life and let everyone else take care of those details for you.
Great points across the board, Scott. If you would like to work with a professional and you appreciate the guidance you get here on the show and want to work with Scott and his team at Elevated Retirement Group, it's very easy to reach out. We've got links in the description of today's show that help point you in the right direction for how to interact with Scott's team and schedule a time to visit for a review of your plan. You can also, of course, go to listentoscott.com. That's where we've got all sorts of great additional episodes, content that we've talked about here on the show in the past, and additional ways to reach out as well. So plenty of resources available for you in the description, so make sure to click down there and get some more info. I'll also mention to you that we're going to link to this article that Scott wrote for Kiplinger, so that'll be available in the show notes or in the description of the show as well. There's some more information in the article that you might want to go check out and tap into as well. So please do that. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching today's episode on YouTube. It helps the show out and lets you know of future episodes as they get released as well. Scott, thanks for the help. Appreciate the guidance, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time on Your Retirement Elevated.
Are you on the path to retirement but feel uncertain about your direction? Don't let myths and misconceptions cloud your journey. Before stepping into a lengthy retirement, gain clarity and confidence with a complimentary financial review. Schedule a conversation with Scott Dugan. It's completely free. Just click the link in the description below or call us at 913-393-4724. Let's start a conversation about what's most important to you as you plan for a successful retirement.
This video has been prepared for educational and marketing purposes only. The information in this video is general in nature, does not constitute personalized investment advice, and does not provide a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. All investments involve risk, and different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk. There can be no assurance that any specific investment strategy will be profitable or suitable to you. Additionally, although information presented in this video is believed to be factual and up to date, we do not guarantee its accuracy. You should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation and should consult a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies mentioned in this video. Investment advisory services are offered through Elevated Capital Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of Elevated Capital Advisors LLC by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the firm has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance advice and products may be offered by a third-party insurance producer, which may be affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC and Elevated Capital Advisors LLC. Walter Storholt and Third Wheel Media LLC receive compensation for their assistance in preparing and hosting this video.